What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, be sure to go subscribe down below, like this video, and be sure to check out my past videos as well. Really just wanted to do a quick video today talking about Dominique Malonga. She just played a really good exhibition game for France, and albeit not competitive one. Finland is not nearly on France's level when we're talking about competition on the Euro stage as they're warming up for the Olympics. But point being, Dominique Malonga is one of, I would say, four players who have a shot to go number one in the 2025 draft. I know a lot of people are making it out to be there's only one player, and this is not meant as a slight to Paige Beckers. This is more just saying, like, I really think, okay, Kiki Ariafen has shown tremendous growth. I think Sanaya Rivers is a player who, if things really click again this year and she continues to make strides, I don't think it's out of the question. But I think if you're looking at another player who could really throw the name into the hat and crash that party, it's Dominique Malonga out of France. Right now, she's an absolute lock for me to be a lottery pick. So this isn't going to be like a full scouting breakdown profile like I did on Annika Soltau, but I did just want to do a quick thing highlighting the most important skill to me that Dominique brings to the court along with her size. So Dominique is 6'6", incredibly agile, incredibly mobile, just a special athlete for somebody at any size, but particularly when you're talking about her size, especially recognizing she's really coordinated as well. But I think watching this game against Finland, you really got to see her ability to operate in screen and roll, which to me, as I wrap this up, I think one of the things that's kind of misunderstood in our league right now in the W, there are a lot of bigs who can play screen and roll, who can play pick and roll, but as the league has gotten more pick and roll heavy, we need more guards who can play pick and roll and do it well, be an actual three-level scoring threat while making the right reads. But we also need rim threats, like players who can really rim run, who can have. We really need players who can rim run, who have versatility as screeners, as players who attack the glass, who attack off rolls, and most importantly, have real gravity attacking the paint. I think right now there are a lot of players who can screen and roll, but they don't necessarily put the fear of God in the defense. Dominique Malonga is going to do that, and I think scrolling through some of these plays that we have pulled up from the Finland game, we can showcase that at a high level. This France team is incredibly talented. I think they're going to make some real noise at the Olympics. But point being here, you have Dominique up top, Marine coming down low. Sarah Bajetti, who played at FSU, is kind of going to figure out where she's at pro level next, but she's a little bit smaller, so they're faking a Marine post up on her because Marine has quite a bit of height on her. Coming up, screening Dominique's defender, and then just easy pass, easy lay. Granted, this is going to look different when you're playing against Team USA or teams with more size, but I think the point stands out. You have a player who, if you involve them in some more intricate screening actions to get them open, I mean, Dominique's touch, look at this right here. Like, her hands are pretty much like parallel with the glass. That's the kind of reach she has, and she has very good touch around the rim as well. Like, that kind of stuff, I think, again, when we're looking at just talking about this in general, you want the most efficient finishing possible. Like, you want players who are shooting incredibly well at the rim, who are threats to be incredibly effective at the rim. And Dominique is going to bring that to a new level, in my opinion. Like, there are some players who can be effective in pick and roll, but I think she is going to be legitimately elite off rip when you talk about her size, her ability to gather, and what she's able to do with her catch radius as well. So flowing into this next one, just a high pick and roll between Marine and Dominique, and it's a miss. But I think I just want to point this out because, again, this is just a great screen, and I think this showcases what can maybe come out of this. Like, if you have, Dominique, if you pair her up with a guard who can really shoot off the dribble, like a player like Marine can, good luck. Because if you're gonna have this player, they're kind of close to the level of the screen. It's like semi drop, but this is like that's a wide open shot for Marine, and I can hear people scratching their heads already. If you are a player that can shoot 35% plus on off the dribble threes, you have to be guarded, and Marine is a player who does that well. I just think about the kind of separation a player like Dominique can create. If this is closer up, if a team does start playing closer up, I think about how this is a slip. I think about how that impacts a defense, and we see that play out, further on in the game as well. So coming up here again, this is just kind of talking about, like we mentioned in that first play with the screening between Marine and for Dominique. So, having that kind of guard to big screening action, which I think is something becoming even more common in the W. I think about this, what this opens up, because again, look at how much pressure this puts on the defense. And granted, I don't think Finland does an amazing job defending this. They don't have like you have to put on different goggles in some ways when you're scouting some of this stuff against countries that maybe aren't at the same level of competition. But I think the whole point stands. Like, look at how much focus is put on this. Marine is an amazing pull-up shooter who can shoot off movement. Dominique is arguably the best rim runner in FIBA, like up there. And yeah, the defense is like, we are so screwed. We have to do something to stop this. We're selling out to stop this. Great pass from Carlo late. Wide open shot. Defender gambles a little bit too much. But again, it's like you have all these eyes get put on in action going on in the middle of the floor and the potential of it. And I think so often people think of, an action happening just within the confines of it is a scoring thing. But I think about what it can open up in terms of decoy and, when it is sold out to be defended, what does that open up? I think that's a really key part to look at. And I think Dominique's going to bring a lot to that when paired with the right players in the W. So next play is simple. It's just showcasing Dominique's ability to run the floor at her size. Because again, like, I think already there are some players, like I think of what Alana Smith has been doing this year, playing the 5 for Minnesota and, scoring, it feels like a quarter of her points, just outrunning her opposition. I think Dominique's going to be a player who can do that as well. So she's grown quite a bit in the past year and being able to handle a little bit more and rip and run. I don't think that's something that's going to happen all the time. I think that's something that can improve as she gets, even better as a ball handler. But again, pushing the ball, knows, okay, there's people ahead of me, got to get the ball moving. Solid pass over, keeps running hard, hand up. And you can literally there are just like very few players in professional basketball right now that are legitimate lob threats. And I think Dominique is going to be a real lob threat, like a player that you can literally just say, okay, I'm tossing the ball up and I know that you have the ability to catch it. And that's, again, it's not well defended, but you get the idea. It's just when you have a player who can run this well, who has the ability to catch that high, it's not even like a high catch, but again, like there's a lot there to be excited about that is just special, that cannot really be matched by people in the pros right now. So this next action gets into some of the stuff that I'm most excited about with Dominique. And it's something that I think you see play out mostly in FIBA. Like, I think she does really good stuff with Asvel and playing club, but I think for me, at least, watching her play nationally with the senior team is where you see the stuff that her role projects most favorably. France does a lot of really great stuff working an empty side with her and a player that has to be guarded off the dribble as a shooter. So the whole point of that is you create an action going some way that opens up something going north-south. So by going east-west and making an action you have to guard, you can open up something north-south. And this is huge because, again, I think when you talk about a player 6'6", you don't even set the screen. Like, you don't have to set the screen. It's kind of like a push-off screen because you know what you're getting from it a little bit based on the way you're hitting that action. It's just quick, overhead. But again, her fluidity out of the screen, it's good footwork, too, to open herself up back towards the basket. It's not an amazing pass. It's like a little bit over, a little bit lofted. But again, like, this is going to be a really big area of growth for her to see what she can do. And I think she's already shown some really good stuff. Like, she has the touch that I think she can consistently become somebody who hits some of these shots like this. I want to see her continue to get comfortable, like, putting the ball on the deck, becoming a better post option. But again, like, when you have a player who can, at 6'6", so comfortably play out of this kind of stuff, that's just, again, you can't teach that. That is lottery level stuff, for lack of better phrasing. So working into something similar, now it's with Marine on the opposite side of the court. Again, you see quick pick, okay, Marine going sideways. This is something you'd see with the Liberty a lot last year, especially, Marine would come off staggers, anything into, to force the defense to try and put 2 on the ball. Again, quick, you have, with the way that this angle is hit, the defender has to call out a switch, right? There's just that's a very hard angle to get over, especially with the movement being in. So that happens. defender switches. This defender is guarding somebody else. You have the weak side occupied too. Easy bounce pass. I mean, Marine, first off, shout out Marine. We love those those no-look whip passes that she's just adept at. But again, when you have a player that's this big of a target that is so fluid moving towards the rim that can just put that up so easily, again, out of a quick hitter action. Like, I think there are going to be some questions in the half court that I'll have to dive into in a later video. But when you're talking about a player who's 19 years old, that's already capable of playing so effectively out of just simple actions that I think are the staple of where the game is headed, massive. Again, more of that kind of push-off screen look, but then you get that quick flip, footwork, facing the basket. I think one of the things that goes so underrated in finishing, your feet have to be aligned. Like you can't just be like, if your feet are going opposite of the basket, it's just that much harder because of momentum and the way that you're jumping. So again, the footwork in this screen stands out. I think so often people think of screening as hard screens and what that creates, but where the game is headed is so much more about, like, yes, you want to get those like we showed earlier, but having these quick motion screens are becoming a staple in offense. Again, I'll keep shouting out the Minnesota Lynx. I think what they're doing is pretty awesome stuff. This fits in so well. Like, I think too of what Jonquel Jones is doing for the New York Liberty this year, alongside Sabrina Ionescu, arguably the best pick and roll tandem in the league right now. It's just quick, simple, fluid, and this, like, what? She touches the glass, man. Like, that's what I'm talking about. If you have a small rotating weak side, forget about it. Like, and France has done a really good job every time I've gotten to watch Dominique play with them of trying to move bigs out on the perimeter, not have them be rotating low, because then if you have guards rotating low, what are they supposed to do? Like, if she's taking off and finishing, takes her gather step right before she's even inside the paint, or like right on the paint, essentially, into that. Like, again, we're not talking about a player who is good as a finisher and pick and roll finisher. Like, she is a player who I think will shoot like 60, 65+% when she first gets into the league out of pick and roll. And you can maybe try and make a case that that's too high or something. I don't. I think when you talk about, again, her explosiveness, what she already has shown at a very high level as a pro, as a finisher, as somebody who can really attack the basket off the bounce coming out of ball screens, like, that is what gets you drafted top 3, top 4 in the league. I think there's a chance she goes even higher. If she is somehow not on your radar already, or you're just now getting excited about the 2025 WNBA draft, she is not appearing in Tankathon mock drafts, or a lot of the smaller ones that are getting pointed out. She needs to be up there because you need to be ready for Dominique Malonga coming to the USA soon. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to go like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video style, just my videos in general. I'd love your feedback. And most importantly, have a great rest of your day.